Shit. Actually, is the sound working? Oh, I didn't even have to connect my headset here. So hey everybody, just wanted to do a tiny little demo because I've been having issues creating some GIFs to show my live hate maps thingy there that I'm working on. It's cool, but CPU is working hard on that. What are the applications? This once it's maybe less CPU heavy. Well, maybe I've been thinking of using a Raspberry Pi with an stereo camera IMX219-83 and send the hate maps data to the to C sharp, from the Raspberry Pi to C sharp sockets or Wi-Fi, and have that displayed on the screen. So let's just start off, and also using moddable games with hate maps textures on the objects of the inside of the game. So, for instance, the game Void Expanse, where I've built interior station models that I've not textured yet. I was thinking of texturing that at some point and having, so as you can see, it lags a little bit at 100, well, a lot actually, lags a lot at 1920p by 1080, or 1920 by 1080p. There, voxels. But as you can see, it's a live voxel displacement or live voxel positions, heat map positions. I don't think displacement is the right word for that. So live heat maps, voxel position. If we go closer, I've made sure that all of the, so this is an exaggerated view to show the voxels. Put a little bit of light effects. That's lame. It's not really working that well. I'm not too sure though that the pixels are correctly located, since I've got some weird results. For instance, here in the Arctic, unless that's exactly how it is, with slices like that. In that geographic location, and the icons, I'm not really happy either with how they look inside of here. Oh, well, I'm just gonna remove this exaggerated view there. So we're gonna put like a 5 here. Just gonna rebuild this. Maybe a value of 10 actually. Okay. And can I turn that off now? Is it done? Yeah. Okay. This. And maybe remove all of the things inside of there too, because there's like done now. Ah, no. No. We're just gonna remove like a lot this. Jesus Christ. And like this, and like this. So normally, maybe it won't crash that. So OBS, let's stream. So a much less exaggerated view. And I still seem to have issues with the pixel placement. Because I'm not sure that it doesn't look like that in real time. So the pixels here are 4x4, or the bytes, the voxels 4x4, and although we can see the geography, from let's say a distance, we see that they're quite placed where the continents are. But when going closer, we got some issues, maybe with um, uh, the order that I've selected the pixels to be capturing the heat maps. So I'm gonna have to be working on that. But except for that, this is a like I said, a 1080p. It's lagging a bit if we go and see the the performance here, 11%, 1.1 gigabyte usage, memory usage. If we go here, we see the console. Oh, it's actually not that bad, you know? Well, it's still a lot, 12% here. I've not played a game for a while, so I don't know how games are actually using the CPU. But if we go and take the project directly from the folder, from the compiled folder here, and oh well, it's better. It's actually better, a little bit better. Oh, that's neat. Still lags. There's no multi-sampling here. There's no like fluff, visual fluff, or anything. So there's like distortions everywhere in the faces. It's not really that pretty. I'm sure that I would have better visuals if I would use the ab3d.dxengine.oculus wrap in order to draw that scene, although I'd have to use the classes, I think, the classes of that engine, the ab3d engine, from ab40.com, and I'm sure that the graphics would be much better looking. So I might do that soon. I don't think it's going to be that complicated to transfer everything to that engine, and I also wanted to do it in Unity. So I wanted to have 3 engines and do it in 3 engines. It's a lot of work still. Not that complicated, just long to do. So I'm glad it lags a little bit less here. So I wanted to do something else or show something else here. Let's see if we can view a black and white video. So come on. Come on. Black and white video. I'm just gonna use a process here, Microsoft Edge like this. Hmm. Uh, I just see something like an old car race or whatever. Oh, that so let's see that works. There's no collar though. I could add the collar to the face, but except for that, works. Let's see. I'm gonna use an exaggerated view just to see here how it looks. Oops, and I still have issues actually with the mouse, so that's something I'm gonna have to fix real soon. So let me see here. For adding, as I said, a little bit of heat map exaggerated view, so that we see maybe a little bit more 3D scene. It's not super 3D, but still. What I mean by that is that when you obviously turn to the left or right or move a little bit, it's of course it does look 3D, but the objects don't rotate. You don't rotate. You don't see the. Well, actually, we're gonna see because I never tried it in exaggerated view. Let's see the video in exaggerated view. Let's see right now. I could have. Well, actually, yeah. So we're gonna take it directly from the folder because it lags a little bit less here. Like this. Come on. So we've got a little bit of lag to start the program because it creates the voxels. So let's check this. It's difficult to add distance. We do see something. Distance. The light effect is really bad right now. Can't see that damn thing. Can't see anything here. Light effects is really bad. Let me see there. It seems to be maybe a little bit better on that side. Can't see a single goddamn thing. Anyway, so it works. Trash demo here. Nothing is visible in the goddamn scene. So we're just gonna stop rotation here. So light rotation speed. I'm gonna rotate just on the light. Maybe do it, vector 3. 0 over -1. -1 like that, and 0 to start off. Okay. Just start the scene like this here, and if light view is great, should really set that up so that it's changeable from inside of the scene later. Better. Seems to be better. Okay. Right, so you can see the difference. We're just gonna go. As you can see, those are live voxel movement, and you can't see. There's tons of voxel. So, and there's just one voxel actually. That's one thing here that I wouldn't be able to load the scene. It would be lagging so much if I would have the entire depth of that we can see here from the rear of the screen to the front of the screen. There's a huge, I would say, distance. And if I spawn a voxel for each units, that it would be like I'm just using one voxel per location, and that voxel is changing the its vertex so that it's displayed in the front where the heat maps value is. But yeah, so it's kind of cool. There's a use for that type of thing, but it's lagging. So let's just turn that off for 2 seconds. Let's change the so I'm going to show you that it's still possible to have a non-laggy version of the same thing here using my software, but it's not going to be a super detailed resolution here. It's going to load faster. Okay, and oops, so we're just going to go and fix another thing. I'm going to have to put the settings correctly here. So fix that real soon. So this resolution is let me check here. Oops. 4x4 by 240 by 135, so it's not really that hot. It's like 480p approximately. Play now.
His first car, he called it a quadricycle. That's his wife, Clara.
Still possible.
He began with an idea that most people thought
game, I would say, in the hate maps modded game.
And the tools he used were common sense, ingenuity, and perseverance, along with a natural instinct for knowing how to put machines together and make them
and let's say I just add the texture. Everything has to be done manual, so that's inside the shader, inside the voxel screen here folder, and If using 8x8 bytes, you gotta use those here. They're set automatically when you're changing to 8x8 anyway. It's using those. Otherwise, 4x4x1 is using those here. So right now I'm in that one and changing that line here. For that line here, you're gonna have the virtual desktop um, screen capture texture additional to the voxel hate maps location. So it's not super hot when you're looking at Visual Studio, but that's in exaggerated view. Oops, and that's the wrong thing. Just one moment here. Fine. So we're just gonna add this setting here, 280. And we got to rebuild from here. When we're changing the shader, for some reasons, using Ctrl Shift B is not updating the shader. I don't know why. So okay, so now we do have the yeah. So
A man thinks twice before he goes to market on roads like this.
Okay, I see it.
And sometimes he never even gets there. There's one car that takes you anywhere you want to go. The Model T. Strong, sturdy, with a will of its own.
Box.
Here's how they put them together at the Highland Park plant.
That's not like it's that's just 480p. If we go and get looks it's real like this. So in gaming, that's it. It's gonna be extremely possible to have a cool game experience, as in playing a table game in virtual reality, where you're able to literally rotate that big screen to the position that you want and play as you want. Like Void Expanse, you can't rotate the screen when you're playing. There's just one side that it goes, and using a voxel displacement, voxel hate maps values, you'd be able to rotate that virtual desktop and see your ship in voxels as you see fit, as you want, and yeah, it's quite cool. It's a cool experience, but I still have a lot of things to fix here. Disposing of a lot of things inside of the scenes, inside of my software, because otherwise Visual Studio is just getting cluttered with undisposed thing, and at some point you need to close Visual Studio, reload it. Even you might have to reload your entire Windows installation there. Reload it, I mean restart it, in order to refresh that. It works also, I think, on Collard. Works on Collard. Wow. Let's see that. Oh, you can still make the writing, actually. Yeah, I'm glad about that. Yeah. Because we can't really make it up on the folders on the desktop, but here on a YouTube movie, it works. It works quite neatly. go and see heat maps there in the background, although the video is way more interesting. But here, see that it's exaggerated view of continent here, Canada, United States, South. There's barely decipher anything here. So let's go and see if we can put that in better resolution here. 480 by 270. 270, yeah. This, and go and put that there at 4. Plug the setting really soon for that. So 480, is that 480? 480, yeah. By 270. Rebuild this, and we're gonna go and fetch our come on. Okay, right here. So I still have issues. I thought it was working 8 by 8 by 8, but I really have tons of issues. It doesn't work. I thought it was working actually. I'm sure that I saw that I plugged the settings at the similar location as how it looks in 4 by 4 by 1, and I just can't do it anymore. So not sure what happened there. And well, there's a little bit of maybe a reason that I had developed the code here in order to divide the texture in equal parts, the screen capture texture in equal parts, and store that inside of an array, and by selecting also the number of columns and number of rows of the divided parts, and that lags. That's the version that I was using first, and it was lagging, really lagging a lot. So now I'm using the piece of code that I got from Andrzej Benedict of the AB3D studio, really back in the day, maybe in 2017 or 2018. It was really a long time ago when he first explained to me that it could happen that the stride on the GPU is bigger than the stride on the bitmap in the main memory, and he provided me that piece of code to make sure that the screen capture is fitting on all screens, because it was not fitting on his screen, and he provided that piece of code to me how to do it there like this. And by using this piece of code, though, the methods in the other script that I was using while fetching the right divided part of the screen wasn't working anymore. Because it wasn't working, I had to build a different one where I'm fetching the lines of the pixels and putting that in the vertex bindings buffer's there. Well, all of it, the buffer preparation there. Because these are just structs where I'm setting the matrix or the x, y, z, w values. That's how I'm using the matrix as as a as a vector storage or float storage for the height maps, and it's faster by using it this way, by using uh, this parcel of code there compared to the one where I'm dividing the whole thing in equal parts. So that made at least this example faster on the screen and more performant. Otherwise, it would barely be playable. When started the program with my old code, so I'm very happy about that. And thanks to Andrzej Benedict for that correspondence I had with them a long time ago that showed me how to make that work. So I think this is my yeah 480 by 270, and here so and I think I can build this inside of Unity. I can build it also inside of AB3DX engine there. And like I said, there's so much warping. You can see the warping on the faces, and probably multi-sampling or anti-aliasing, maybe it's called. Multi-sampling. It might fix this warping there. That's not that cool. And one thing that I wanted to show you also is the ability, of course, to diminish the screen size, to reduce the screen size to the size that you want. So you can have a tiny screen and still see the voxels the same way. It doesn't change. It's just that the size that is changed. The rest is functioning properly still. Whoops. So we're just gonna load it directly from my folder. Here, compiled folder. So we've got the working. So that's the working, virtual desktop that's still usable here. Now, if I can show you here, I'm using the Oculus Touch to move it. So just one second, I'm just going to deposit there. Okay, so we're going to go to that version, which is not interactive yet in terms of using the Oculus Touch on it, but it's like I said, it's still working with the voxels. Small. So let's put it even smaller than that. Doesn't really seem that small. Maybe there. I never got that small though. I'm not sure that's gonna work. Let's see if it works. Because when you go too small, I noticed that normally it doesn't really appreciate that. Uh, and the vertex locations and stuff, it becomes a problem at some point. I don't know which point because I didn't test all the settings here. Okay, so the screen is really small here. Maybe it's too small. It's really small. Okay. Oops, and we have an issue here. I said with the screen. Okay, just gonna move that. Okay. So there you go. So we can still see the movement is too fast now. The Oculus Touch. Yeah, we can still. Let's go closer. Really close. You can see that all of the voxels locations is changing. And for robotics, I've been thinking also. Well, when I'm saying robotics, the vision of robotics. When they're using cameras, heat map cameras, you've got the values like that IMX 219-83 that's usable on a Raspberry Pi, and I think Jetson Nanos and other kind of tinker boards, developer boards like that have the connectors, and I've been thinking about the usage of my program there for voxel location. It would give, you know, the ability to see what your robot sees, but in voxel view. So it's pretty cool. It's not perfect, but yeah. Now we see so like there's one thing though that you see that I'm using the screen capture texture, and the scene is visible because is more visible, I would say, because of the texture. So by turning off the texture again, where I'm only using the oops, wrong script here, where I'm only using the height maps values. Let me see again. And I might use, because I wanted to use my camera, my desk camera, to shoot this video, but because of the battery, it's an SJ 4000, and because the battery is really bad, like it's not really working fine anymore, and my wire, my original wire, is broken, so I have to use spare wires, and somehow I don't know why the power uh, that goes to the camera is different because of the wire, although it's the same connectors. And even though I'm using shorter wires, the camera is turning off. At most annoying of moments. So I've been thinking about using my IMX 219-83, plugging that to a my Raspberry Pi, and using that as my streaming camera. So I would be streaming in voxels. That would be cool. So, well, now it's less visible because of the camera. It's super far away. So let's turn that off. Let's go back to setting that to 0.5. Just want to show you that it's not, because of the texture that we're able to see what's happening on the screen. Is just like I was doing it in the beginning anyway when I started the stream. There was no texture that we're showing, but still you're able to see what's happening on the video because of the height map. So just one moment here. This loads. So the big screen. Whoa. Okay, I really made it big this time around. Huge. So we're just gonna start that. You can also see, when I'm moving the character, you can see the bottom there, the character movement. I'm showing the pickaxe. I'm missing the handle of the pickaxe though. But you can see those on screen too. Look, the top left, when I'm putting them on the screen, you can actually see those textures on the map too, on the voxel heat maps. So just want to arrive there at some point. So yeah, so you can see the heat maps. You can see the what's happening on the screen still. So the heat maps values. Oh, it's possible to see the scene, to see that it's happening. Oh yeah, there's a warping here. I don't know what that's the word that they're using to describe the issues with the when I'm moving the Oculus Rift. You see plenty of scars, or I don't know, on the screen there. So maybe if I turn a little, I'm really far also from the screen. I made it too big. I really made it too big this time around. So we're gonna use a 0.1, and useless. Usual. 1 second here. So we're just gonna load that. I have a 480. Yeah, 480. So that's great. So like this, like that, and this movie there. Good old movie. Oh, I could use a. I could try a new video also, like a new stuff. Oh, well, actually, I got like my void expense stuff. Void expense 2020, whatever. My video should be there. Oh, look at that. Let me see. See the turning thing. Let me see. So that's the original textures. So menus. See the radar top right there. It's moving though because of the light. There's a light that flashes on the turrets, and because the light flashes, you see like a bump in the. It's not super. It's not super hot. But it's an exaggerated view also, so that there's, I just plugged that there without doing any changes. Still, it works. You're able to see the scene there. The original values, but there's no. Although I think I don't think that I selected, specular map, all that stuff there. The correct diffuse map when I was modding Void Expanse. Let me see the. Oh, let me see now. Let's see the science there. Let's see the mining station now. I never finished that. The mining station and nothing's happening. There's no drones that can mine inside of the asteroid yet. So you see that. Yeah, well, there's no hate maps values. Where did you learn to fly? Just getting the collar now. If I would put some hate maps, collars, directly, and have those displayed, not have any texture displayed except hate maps values on the textures of each objects in the scene of Void Expanse, then I would have, I think a better experience there in voxelized thing there for Void Expanse. There seems to be more blue, right? There is. So if I go, and it's as simple as using, the different pixel here. So I'm using the blue. Let's see. Let's use red for. There's more blue than red in that scene, though. Let's still use the red value. Um, there's no effects. There's plenty of effects that can be done with the pixels, and I've done none. There's zero effects there, so there's plenty of room for optimizations and for different kind of settings. Perlin voxel kind of a loading screen where you see cool Perlin effects on the voxels on screen. So just see here. Just go close. I just want to see if there's like and docking. It's lagging, although that's a big problem. That's the screen. Not the screen. That's the. Let's just start it again. Okay. Maybe the science station here. Okay. Let's see this.
Flight control system online.
And also, this is using the background of void expanse where there's plenty of stars in the rear. So it shows here, they're elevated. There's a heat map value to those stars in the rear. So that's something that I was able to cancel by using a different background, like a gray background. And by doing that, I have the ability then to modify the background, but inside of my engine, and leave the one in void expanse completely blank, white or gray or black, and that makes it so that I can add stars, but from my engine. It's going to be a little bit complicated, but let's say that leaving uh, just like it is right there, letting my engine capture the heat maps inside of there, but deciding to cancel the value because it recognizes it as a star, as a background star. It's possible too. So there seem to be a you can see
Shields down.
the textures are not made for that. They're
Structure
not made
at
for that. Specifically made for
75%.
that. Right now, so I'm gonna have to use Blender there and make correct heat maps value so that we see a big big elevation in the voxels displayed on screen when going through near bases like that, near stations. So yeah, I'm happy. This is actually the first time I'm doing it live. The first time that I'm viewing the stations there, and it's from a video, so it might actually be better in game if I would be loading the game. Let's load it. Actually, whatever. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna plug that in a window mode and cancel the music. So it's a music I made, but it's getting old. So windowed borderless. No, yeah, windowed borderless. We're canceling the sound effects and post effects. Trail short disabled and minimum for that. And nope, we're setting that to windowed. And yeah, like this. Let's see here. Let's see if I can have.
Flight control system online.
So yeah, as you see, there's so many values here of the rear of the the background there. There's like plenty of stars, nebulas, and all that stuff in the rear end. So I'm gonna go and see the station here. Now we're just gonna move up a little bit. Let's see light effects. There's that too. Can decipher it. You know what it is because we see it here, and it lags also. Look, we see the planet in the rear end, and then we see the jump gate in the front.
Shields down.
Oops.
Structure at 75%. Structure at 50%. Damage critical.
Oh, okay, so that's because I didn't set the view distance. I'm gonna have to set the view distance. So expensive. Just let me leave the ship here. Just so yeah, when we see a light in the turret, we see a bump on the turrets. Let me see this fish. Looks quite good. That's an exaggerated view. If I leave that less exaggerated view, better, and we can see the cursor too, cursor location. Let me just try it, because the goal was to actually play with expense and heat maps at some point, and finally that I've almost built my engine completely for that to work. Oh, it's not working completely yet. I'm starting again. I'm barely starting to try avoid expense inside of heat maps. Just 1 second. Just gonna plug that to a value of 5, and we're just gonna reset also the screen. The value here. Come on. I could use a little bit less resolution also, maybe. So I was talking earlier also that you might have, if you want to use my program, you might have to change some folders uh, names, and I'm talking about um, well, it's a WPF solution, although I'm not really using a WPF rendering here. I'm rendering directly to the console. So here it's going to be set up correctly in the resources, although you might have to take all of those shaders and put them in the resources. In the resources, you got to right click on the program, click on properties if you're using my Visual Studio version, which is 2022, yeah, 64-bit. You got to click on resource, click on create or open assembly resource, and once you take one here and bring it there, one shader and bring it there, well, it's already there, so let's just delete it. Ah, shoot, I deleted more. Oh, cool, I can do CTRL. What's the problem here? Are you going to be able to select it? Okay, so I'm grabbing it. I'm putting it right here, so it's in binary now. You need to change that to text, and you need to put that to UTF-8. Okay, sometimes the setting is not there. It's actually never there for me first, so I gotta select it and put it right there. Except for that, uh, those are in instance chunk prim, the settings for the resource, and the voxel level gen. You've got a shader or the preparation also, which is right here, and it's the same thing. The resources terrain is going to be an SCVR chunk. The resources right here too, same thing, and the IK limbs, which is in cube, SC cube, not SC cube. This is SC cube, and you go there to resources. Oops, no, it's not here for that one. It's in where did I put that? It's not here. SC voxels, maybe. Yeah. No. Well, I'm gonna have to review that. I put that in the shader actually. Okay, it's in the shader script. Okay, shader script. Built those differently. I've built those a long time ago. Barely went over to check what's inside of them. So those are the scripts, and there's also at the beginning there of graphics here. I'm. Oh no, I removed them. Normal. Oh, let me just go. Yeah, I removed them. I had a couple of textures here set up, so I removed them, so you won't have to set that there. And I think that's about it for the issues with the texture. There might not be actually any goddamn issues. Oh, I think there's one here. Yeah. So that texture here, terrain, grass, dirt, that I built in GIMP. Let me see. Where did I put that again? I think it's in the CVR chunk shader. No, not here. Level gen shader. No. Okay, so I removed it. I removed it because it was an SCVR chunk shader right here, about at the end there, and I removed it. I think it was causing issues anyway, and I wasn't using it. So yeah, so I think that's a good little overview with that. So I wanted to put a little bit less lag, also maybe. And we're gonna go and do a 320 by 180, and no, let's leave it. Let's leave it there. Okay. Leave it there. Here I got the texture color. I'm just gonna do a rebuild directly from clicking to the right. On rebuild, right button, right mouse button. Come on. In the right program now. What's going on? Oh, I'm using it. Oh, that's why it's not working. Wow. Wow, I was using that for a while. I don't have the CPU temperature showing up here. We're gonna have to install like IO software bit, whatever, IO cleaner, IO bit cleaner, maybe it's called, or CPU temp core. IO bit to clean the memory usage until I dispose of things, and CPU core temp in order to have the core temperature. So with the texture, so now that the texture of the screen capture is shown on screen, so we can see, what's going on with the menus. Oh, let's go closer. If we go closer, we still see a little bit of voxel displacement, but I lowered it like a lot, by a lot. So it's not really that evident that it's a voxel screen there. So we are going to cancel that. And we're going to go back and try to fix that down at the bottom. Just change that setting by and multiply it by 10. Multiply it by 100 still. Okay, 50. And let's go halfway. Let's go here. Come on. Okay. So now we've got that huge. Just gonna lower the volume just a little bit here. It's really. Okay. Let me me see again. Okay. So you see those you don't see the walls. Look, we don't really see the walls of the station. That's, you know, the purpose of my experiment is to set that up so that we see the walls of the station when you go near. You see the ship perfectly there, the heat maps, but we don't, right? We don't see that. Although, let's go decide what's going on. It's not perfect. Actually, very ugly. And look at the, you know, the huge warping there. So yeah, might have no choice but to transfer really soon in order to have a much better visual on what's happening on the screen. Transfer to the AB3DX engine and AB3 dot DX engine dot Oculus wrap in order to see those beautiful images instead with multi-sampling enabled, and there might not be any warping. So I'm probably gonna do that even today. At least not. I'm not gonna use the classes. I'm not gonna use the classes of the AB3DX engine yet, because that would be a lot. That would be a huge, a long. Would be like a long change. A lot of work to do. I don't think it's gonna be that complicated, but it's gonna be a lot of work. Maybe 1 week, a couple days to 1 week. To bring all of that inside of the AB3DX engine, but I think I would have much better visuals if I would do it completely, to bring all of it inside of the AB3DX engine classes. Otherwise, just using the AB3DX engine Oculus wrap, and I would have multi-sampling. I think that the warping there would a lot of the warping would be gone, maybe just with that. And I just wanted to do another test here just to see if the warping is still texture warping or texture issues there, whatever you want to call them. If it's less of an issue when the screen is smaller, which I don't think. Smaller, but still at the same resolution. So the ship parts are still there, still salvageable. Okay. That is solid. So it's less evident when the screen is smaller because you're closer to the screen. Now, if you go further away, then you're gonna start to see warping in the textures. So the smaller the screen, the closer you can be to it, and you know. So there's still, you can still see the difference there in the. You can still see the map. Voxel mapping, void expansion map in voxels. So yeah, but I'm not done. It's lagging a lot at that resolution on my CPU, on my video card, and I've done zero optimization right now. I've just barely, you know, got to this point there, and wanted to do a demo and release, and you know, there's plenty of issues. Still an issue, like I said, with the mouse. Look, I can't even move the mouse. It's going back at the bottom. When that issue happens, you have to call the screen with pressing on Y button on the Oculus left touch, and then press on the button X to call the screen, and after that you can move again the mouse with your desktop mouse there instead of your Oculus touch. So yeah, that's a little bit of the demo that I wanted to do there. I'm not really pleased with the heat maps values here inside of Void Expanse, but as I said, there's no. Oh, I'm just gonna turn the shadows off. But this is something that I didn't have the time to work on. Can I turn them off? I could turn them off before. No, turn as background name. Huh. Oh, it's the quality. I think I have to. Yeah, the quality removes the shadows. So I'm not really happy about it. I'm gonna have to make the textures. Well, it's normal. I had anticipated the values. There would be no hate mask values and stuff, but not to that level. I thought there would be a little bit of something to see here. Anyway, so thanks for watching, people. My name is Steve Chassé, aka Ninekorn, and I'm a quite self-made DIY whatever programmer, but that learned from other people's references a lot on the internet, online. Did a little bit of Teen Tree House, like 3 days, or something like that, 1 week maybe, and I still have a lot to learn. So there's more of an artistry maybe feel to what I'm doing because nothing is perfect. There's issues everywhere, but I keep on learning, and hopefully one day I'll be able to provide softwares where you don't have to, you know, try them and test the bugs out yourselves and have to report them. Hopefully, I'll be able to provide softwares where there's none of those bugs, and that they're working out of the box really soon. And for my prior softwares that I've released that had somehow virus detection or something like that, malware detection on the cloud, but not on the client. That's still something that I don't understand. I didn't finish my correspondence there with Microsoft regarding those issues, and I should, because I wanted to code, and actually I didn't code for ever since that I started corresponding with them. There was a long hiatus. What I was doing wasn't doing anything practically. So now I'm back to coding, so I might take care of those important things to make sure that my reputation there online is clean, because that's how it's supposed to be regarding softwares that I provide. I don't provide things with viruses and spywares and malwares. I don't know how to code them. I don't know where to get them and to code them and how to get data from them. Steganography, I never used that in my life. So, there's a lot of things there that unfortunately, um, it's just annoying to me that they had to pop up just like that in my face when I used Microsoft Intelligence report tools, or actually scan tools for the Bitdefender virus scans on my softwares. But personally, I think that even if I would have been using anything else like Unity 3D or whatever other kind of software, that would still have been vulnerable to those kinds of detection, because I'm not a pro in network security. So at any point in time, anybody can come in my computer and put things that they wish inside of my crap, and it's really annoying because I don't know yet how to defend myself properly against those kinds of vulnerabilities. So I'm relying on softwares that I can download, like Vera, like the Tiny Wall Firewall, like Bitdefender, Microsoft, like I think that's about it, right? And Spybot Search and Destroy to make some scans. So that's the softwares that I'm using, in order to protect myself against vulnerabilities. And I'm gonna just try to do better at least when I'm ready to release something. I'm gonna scan it first. I didn't do it for the revision 1.4, so you're completely free to try to use the Microsoft, um, Microsoft Intelligence, security and network intelligence, that's called, or something, to scan for my software for viruses, if there's any, and you can write that in the chat so that I can look it up and see what I can change so that it isn't detected as a virus, because there's no virus in my scripts. unless somebody uses steganography, pastes some crap code on my scripts, the inside, the contents of the one that I'm coding in the entire thing that I'm releasing, normally with the reference that I put there. But what I mean is, when I type my code, there's no virus inside of there. The only way that a virus could maybe get inside of my stuff is by using ctrl-c on the internet for a tiny snippet of code, like one line of code, using ctrl-c and using ctrl-v, or using the mouse copy paste, for a virus to get inside of my scripts, maybe even then. And I don't know how it would be possible anyway. If I'm comparing my old version scripts, they're in kilobytes, and as far as I know, a virus must contain quite a lot of data or something. And when there's no such big changes in kilobytes in my scripts, how the heck can there be a virus inside of them anyway? Where is it put? Where they put it exactly, so that I can find it and remove it. Where is it? You know, and nobody's telling me. You know, I asked. I think I asked Microsoft Intelligence, where's the virus? You know, and it wouldn't say. So what I think happened is that by me releasing uncompiled software, people have access to all of my scripts. And because they have access to all of my scripts, you just can pick one out of them and use it in a virus. And the script itself is going to be flagged as a virus on the cloud, and that's enough to flag your whole software on your side, or my whole software, just because somebody used one script in a filthy software that they've built in order to try and ruin my reputation. So, I'm thinking recently. I've been thinking of maybe not releasing any more uncompiled things in order to avoid those issues where somebody just picks one script out of my stuff, just uses it in their own virus or whatever kind of software they're building on their sides, that gets immediately flagged by Microsoft Intelligence, and the problem is me, on my side. When I use the tool after that, I use a tool to scan my files and my scripts. They get flagged on the cloud, but not on the client. They get flagged on the cloud. So that's how I think that my files got flagged in my earlier versions of the software, because my software is a screen capture. I had intended to build it for Elite Dangerous as an overlay, that I never was able to make it work yet. I was able to make the overlay work, but not a virtual desktop overlay yet. And to use it first for Void Expense, second for Elite Dangerous. And just that wasn't meant for anything else. But the problem is I provided all of my script uncompiled. There's hackers out there. It might have been, interesting to them to see that they now had a software that isn't using the Oculus Store to be run, uh, because it's not downloadable from the Oculus Store. You can just load up the program and start my software, which is kind of independent a little bit from that. And they might have used my software for hacking, hence why it got flagged in the cloud. So yeah, in order to avoid that in the future, maybe for detections of my scripts, although they might be false positives also, that's one possibility. But I think, because there's a lot of competition, right? There's a lot of competition in the programming world, so it's entirely possible that just somebody picked my scripts, built their own goddamn hacking thing with it, and just one script or two scripts inside of my program after that gets flagged in the cloud. It's very irritating. Personally, it's a disgrace. It's disgusting, because my software was never meant, never intended to be a hacking platform. So I'm very displeased about that. But except for that, yeah, I'm happy to have made this demo today and showed you how it works. And um, I've in order to, because I didn't have a chance also to clean any of my old version of my software that got flagged. So what I did, although today, is that I removed all of my other versions that I was keeping inside of the same folder normally. Version of revision 101 or 100 or 12, 11, and 13 was keeping those versions, those revisions in here. Now I removed all of them because a couple of the scripts inside of them were flagged on the cloud, and it was irritating for me. I didn't like that because if one of you viewers or people that would try my software would have tried any of those versions and would try them now, it it might get flagged on your antivirus, and it's annoying because you're never going to be able to start the program anyway. You'd have to modify the code so that it doesn't get flagged. It doesn't get detected as if it was a virus on the cloud, or something. So yeah, so sorry if I looked a little bit angry about that, but it's normal to be. I built these softwares by my own hands. They were never meant to be tagged as a virus or something like that. So it's irritating for me because I never wanted to ruin my reputation or have it ruined by some people that I don't even know the name of. But except for that, there's one other thing for my software right now. If you press on the Y, because right now the voxels on the screen, oops, and now I don't know where I am. The voxels on the screen should still be breakable, but you can rebuild them by pressing on Y and then pressing on X. Uh, and that's a problem because I'm gonna fix it very soon because right now what it does, it keeps fixing it every frame. So it lags. It adds up to the lag because it keeps fixing the entire voxel screen every frame. So there's not a lot of lag, but it's still enough to fill in all of the buffers that are used to store the bytes of the screen. So let me just see if I can actually break it in front of you. Still, I'm not too sure though if it's gonna work. Okay, and we gotta go in a place where it's gonna be visible. Let me just. No, so it's not working anymore. What did I do here? Oh well, there's a height map value, so it might be impossible to see it clearly. Because I break one, and we're not really gonna see the difference that much. Well, if I cancel though, let me show you. I'm gonna cancel the heat maps. Let me see. Let me see. If we cancel the heat maps normally, it should be visible when I'm breaking the values here. When I'm breaking the. I'm streaming, so I can use this. Where's the screen? Okay, so we've got a problem with the screen here. Oh yeah. If one second. If else, no, it's actually already equal to 0 here. Which is equal to 0. So we're just gonna make it bigger. Just gonna try to see what the heck is the problem. And breaking though, if you would have that resolution, or a tiny little bit less big, with 8 by 8, it would be less lagging. I'm going to show you. The problem is the height maps values. I can show you that also. Just 1 second here. So again, I did provide my software, uncompiled, and because of that, the scripts inside might get flagged by what's going on here. Oh, so there's something else that I broke. I'm not too sure what the heck. One moment, people here. If this one, so let me see the script. This, oh yeah, right here. Oh, so 4 by 5 is my bad. Okay. Oh, and yeah, I gotta change also the pixel value here. For 80 by 270, I think that's right. So I'm just gonna show you first the breakable bytes. Maybe change the background also to display something else that where the scene is visible there. But I prefer black, with the light effects there. It's more cool, especially when you're playing a space game. So just 1 second here. Okay, so they're still breakable. There's movement there. I'm sorry about that. So the movement is too fast. I'm moving so fast. But this is 1 pixel here. Okay, 1 pixel supposedly. With the voxel resolution I'm using, and they're really small on the screen. Okay, all of my pixel is big, but well, they're really small. I mean, there's a lot. They're not that small for that version, but look at that. Okay, so that's the same screen I've been using, same resolution. Okay, so breakable still. But if I go now and show you a quick example of using 8 by 8, you're gonna see that and the same resolution, 24. No, 24. Give me a second. I'm just gonna calculate it. So 240 by 135 by 8 by 8. Yeah, so that's 180p. Kinda 240, and we're gonna use 8 by 8 and 8 9 here like this pixel shader. We're gonna do the same thing. I gotta do the values manually right now for the reason that that I removed some paddings. I might re-add the paddings later. I use the padding here, padding 0, 1, 2, in order to send the values. But because of adding so many matrices or vectors in order to have the heat maps sent, well, I had to do that to do it this way. So here is something that doesn't work. Not sure what. 8, 8, 8, 9. Let me just see here. My script for the if tiny java is equal to 8, that's fine. It's supposed to be fine here. At least for that. Here in the scripts. No, we don't want to move the 8 map now. Don't move. We don't want to move the heat maps value inside of the script. Although, I'm gonna I'm gonna add some more shaders here. Perfect. And it's still lagging though. I'm really annoyed by that. But you look at the memory usage, 687. It's not that bad, but it's still a lot of work on the CPU. I can feel it. Still breakable. Come on. Well, that's good. Anyway, so you saw that it's still breakable there. Okay. When I'm using it the way that I built this. So, but when you're using the heat maps of 8 by 8 by 8, they're not breakable anymore. 8 by 8 by 1, I mean. They're not breakable. And here, yeah, I'm quite displeased by the fact that it still lags at that resolution. 8 by 8 by 8, though. I don't know what I did. Because there's still distortions here, you know, like tearing on the screen. I'm moving. It's kind of scarring. I don't know. There's plenty of terms here to explain the issues. But anyway, so yeah, so it works. It loads the screen. You can break the bytes, but oh yeah, the heat maps. The heat maps don't work when it's 8 by 8 by 8. It's been annoying. There seems to be a lot of issues with the pixel placement there. Like it's loading. Give me a second here. So I'm going to use 8 by 8 in this. Maybe it's 16 by 16 here. XX multiplied by 16. Let me try it. It's not displayed correctly on the screen at all. Like it's not even close to be fine. As far as I remember. Oh, no different. Oh, no different. Yeah, so as you can see, nothing really works here. I'm in the rear. There's supposed to be the heat maps, but there's a little bit of it, and the rest, the screen isn't like there's still a line here. Oops, just 1 moment. There's still a line there that you see, and that line is coming from moving that, so it's not working 8 by 8 by 1, but if it would be, uh, if I could fix it, make it work, then it would be better in terms of performance. The lag would be less visible inside of the game when moving the character, when moving around. So, so yeah, I guess that's all for today. That's all for this little demo. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you